Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes 10 films to watch about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. UAW strike could upend GM, Ford financial strategies. Brands are handing out freebies at Walmart as online ads lose appeal. Monday's analyst upgrades and downgrades. General Catalyst in German VC tie-up as part of European tech push. 10 films to watch about the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera has released a 4-part documentary series titled Palestine, 50 Years of Occupation that explores the history and current situation in Palestine. The series covers various topics such as the 1967 war, the Oslo Accords, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the history of Palestine before 1948, the Israeli wall in Gaza, Israeli surveillance in Hebron and Jerusalem, and the water crisis in Gaza. The series includes interviews with historians, eyewitnesses, and experts to provide a comprehensive understanding of the complex issues in the region. UAW strike could upend GM, Ford financial strategies. Reuters. The United Auto Workers, UAW, strikes and subsequent contract settlements are putting General Motors, GM, and Ford's plans to develop electric vehicles at risk, according to analysts. The strikes have so far cost GM and Ford over $500 million, with JP Morgan estimating that Ford is losing $44 million per day and GM is losing $21 million per day. The strikes have forced both companies to scale back planned investments in EV and battery plants, and analysts suggest that reductions in capital spending, delayed EV targets, and greater sharing of costs could be on the horizon. Brands are handing out freebies at Walmart as online ads lose appeal. Bloomberg. Brands are increasingly turning to in-store sampling to reach consumers amid declining effectiveness of online ads. Walmart has announced plans to expand its sampling program to more than 1,000 locations, while grocery giant Wakefern Food is putting freebie vending machines in 95 stores. Sampling offers exposure for smaller brands and the chance to trial new products for larger companies. Online ads have become less effective since Apple enabled iPhone users to block brand tracking, and it is now more expensive to find new customers through social media channels and keyword search ads. Monday's analyst upgrades and downgrades. The Globe and Mail. Canadian Tire Corporation is expected to face pressure on consumer spending as Canadians renew their mortgages in the coming years, according to National Bank financial analyst Vishal Sridhar. He estimates that over $300 billion in mortgages will be due for renewal in each of the next 2 years, which could result in incremental disposable income pressure for consumers. Sridhar expects the company to report muted retail sales and cautious consumer behavior in its upcoming third-quarter earnings release. ATB Capital Markets analyst Chris Murray expects Air Canada to report a significant increase in passenger volumes and profitability in its third-quarter results. Murray notes that demand remained strong throughout the peak summer season, despite an increase in jet fuel prices. He expects Air Canada to deliver 13% year-over-year revenue growth, driven by strength in its Atlantic and domestic businesses. Murray maintains an outperform recommendation for Air Canada shares, but has trimmed his target to $35, citing higher net debt levels in 2024. Citi analyst Stephen Enders sees a clear path to monetization for OpenText Corp's expanding artificial intelligence capabilities. He is optimistic about the company's AI initiatives and introduced fiscal 2026 financial projections, including increased revenue and free cash flow margin. However, he maintains a neutral recommendation for OpenText shares and has trimmed his target to $38 to align with peers. General Catalyst in German VC tie-up as part of European tech push. Financial Times. U.S. venture capital firm General Catalyst is merging with Berlin-based firm La Famiglia in a bid to take advantage of the expected rebound in European tech investments. La Famiglia, which has raised more than €250 million, $285 million, this year, has invested in a number of startups including Helsing and Mistral, and has received backing from investors including Swarovski and Skype co-founder Niklas Zennström. General Catalyst has $25 billion in assets under management and has invested in European startups for more than a decade, including Kayak and Helsing. Netflix may tap price hikes after success of password-sharing crackdown. Reuters. Netflix's crackdown on password sharing likely led to an increase of around 6 million subscribers in Q3 2021. The streaming giant is expected to raise prices after the end of the recent Hollywood actors' strike, with analysts predicting it will also raise prices of its ad-free options in order to encourage more subscribers to the tier that includes commercials. Netflix is forecast to double its ad-supported viewership next year and generate around $188.1 million in revenue from its ad tier in Q3 2021. The company is expected to post its strongest quarterly subscriber additions this year. Florida's battered orange growers are cashing in on a housing boom. Bloomberg. Florida's orange farmers are increasingly selling their land as they opt out of the state's signature fruit due to years of plagues, freezes, storms, and the spread of an incurable bacterial disease called greening. The number of acres dedicated to growing oranges in Florida has declined by more than half since 2000, to just over 300,000 this year, according to a preliminary U.S. Department of Agriculture report. The state's agricultural shift is due to a changing state economy, shifts in weather, and changing consumer tastes, but greening has quickened the long-term erosion of the industry. Replacing diseased trees can take years, and for farmers, selling land instead can generate funds. A booming real estate market has led many farmers to conclude it would be more profitable to sell their land than to continue cultivating oranges. As housing demand and prices in Florida increase, development is pushing further inland as locals seek more affordable housing. Former orange groves are a logical place for development because sparsely populated agricultural land is cheaper and easier to build on. TikTok fights back over €345 million teen privacy fine in EU. Bloomberg. TikTok has filed an appeal against a €345 million, $363 million, data privacy fine imposed by European regulators and is challenging an order to eliminate deceptive or manipulative practices. The ByteDance-owned platform, which has more than 1 billion users worldwide, was fined by the Irish Data Protection Commission for failing to protect minors and violating general data protection regulation rules. The European Data Protection Board had to approve the decision as the infringement was EU-wide. TikTok has declined to comment further on the appeals. Dear viewers, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and analysis. Today, we covered a diverse range of topics that spanned from the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict to the impact of UAW strikes on GM and Ford, the decline of online ads and the rise of in-store sampling, analyst upgrades and downgrades for Canadian Tire Corporation and Air Canada, General Catalyst's merger with La Famiglia, Netflix's potential price hikes, the changing landscape of Florida's orange industry, and TikTok's appeal against a data privacy fine. Let's dive deeper into these stories. Al Jazeera's documentary series on the Israel-Palestine conflict provides a comprehensive look at the history and current situation in the region. It sheds light on various aspects, including the 1967 war, the Oslo Accords, and the water crisis in Gaza. This series is a valuable resource for anyone seeking a deeper understanding of the complexities of the conflict. The UAW strikes have had a significant impact on GM and Ford, costing them millions of dollars and forcing them to scale back investments in electric vehicles. This disruption could have long-term consequences for their financial strategies and their ability to compete in the EV market. As online ads become less effective, brands are turning to in-store sampling to reach consumers. Walmart and Wakefern Food are expanding their sampling programs, which offer exposure for smaller brands and the chance to trial new products for larger companies. This shift highlights the changing landscape of advertising and the need for brands to adapt to new consumer behaviors. Analysts have differing views on Canadian Tire Corporation and Air Canada. While National Bank Financial expects pressure on consumer spending for Canadian Tire due to mortgage renewals, ATB Capital Markets anticipates an increase in passenger volumes and profitability for Air Canada. These analyses highlight the importance of considering multiple perspectives when evaluating investment opportunities. General Catalyst's merger with La Famiglia is a strategic move to tap into the expected rebound in European tech investments. This collaboration brings together the expertise and resources of both firms, positioning them well to capitalize on emerging opportunities in the European tech sector. Netflix's crackdown on password sharing has led to an increase in subscribers, and the streaming giant is now considering price hikes. Analysts predict that Netflix will raise prices to encourage more subscribers to the ad-supported tier, which is expected to generate significant revenue for the company. This move reflects Netflix's evolving business model and its efforts to adapt to changing market dynamics. Florida's orange industry is facing challenges due to the spread of greening disease and changing consumer preferences. Many farmers are opting to sell their land instead of continuing to cultivate oranges, taking advantage of the booming real estate market. This shift in the agricultural landscape has implications for housing development and the state's economy. TikTok is appealing a data privacy fine imposed by European regulators and challenging an order to eliminate deceptive practices. This case highlights the growing importance of data privacy and the regulatory challenges faced by social media platforms. That's all for today's news recap. I hope you found these stories informative and thought-provoking. Now it's time for you to share your thoughts and questions. What are your ideas on these topics? I'm eager to hear your perspective. Remember, in the 6 Degrees world, every angle matters. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay connected. Until next time, this is Dr. Six signing off. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.